1. Introduction. My name is Helga. I am 26 years old. I live in Vienna, a very beautiful city. My life felt wonderful. Everything was perfect. I was very happy. I believed my future was clear and bright. I had everything I could wish for. My days were filled with joy and planning for happy times ahead. I loved my life in Vienna very much. In 2 months, I was going to get married. My fiancé's name is Max. He is a very kind and loving man. Max is 28 years old. He is strong and sweet. He always makes me feel safe. I loved him very much. We were excited about our wedding day. We talked about our future often. We planned to have a happy life together. We chose a beautiful place for the wedding. We invited many friends and family. I spent many days looking for the perfect wedding dress. It was a white dress, long and elegant. I imagined myself walking down the aisle to Max, starting our new life as husband and wife. One day, I went to a shop. It was time for my wedding dress fitting. The dress was beautiful. I put it on. I looked in the mirror. I felt so happy. This was the moment I had dreamed of. But then something strange happened. I felt very dizzy. My head started to spin. The room began to turn. My legs felt weak. I tried to hold onto something, but I could not. Everything went black. I fainted. I fell to the floor and the world disappeared. When I opened my eyes, I was lying down. People were around me. They looked worried. I felt confused and weak. Someone called for help. Soon, I was in a hospital. Doctors came to see me. They asked me many questions. They did many tests. I stayed in the hospital for some time. I waited for the results. Max was with me. He held my hand. He told me everything would be okay, but I could see the worry in his eyes too. Then, the doctor came to my room. His face was serious. He looked at me and then at Max. He started to speak. His words were difficult to hear. He said, "Helga, your kidneys are not working well." He explained that my kidneys were failing. I did not understand everything at first. He said, "You need a kidney transplant." I felt a cold fear inside me. A transplant meant a big operation. It meant a new kidney. He said, "This is very serious. You need this transplant to live." My perfect life was no longer perfect. It changed in one moment. I was scared. Max looked scared too. We did not know what to do. My future suddenly looked very different. I needed a new kidney. This was a very big problem. I had to face this new challenge. My happy plans for the wedding seemed far away now. I only thought about getting well. I thought about finding a new kidney. 2, a big surprise. Helga was still in the hospital. Her body felt weak and her mind was full of questions. The doctors had told her about her kidneys. She needed a new one. This was a very serious problem. She knew she needed help soon. Her parents, Marta and Victor, were by her side every day. They stayed with her, trying to make her feel better. Helga felt scared, but she also felt their strong love. She knew they would do anything for her. The doctors had an important idea. Perhaps Marta or Victor could give Helga a kidney. This was a common way to find a donor. They were her parents, after all. They wanted to help their daughter. So, the doctors quickly took some tests. They took blood samples from Marta. They took blood samples from Victor. They also took more blood from Helga to compare. They needed to see if their blood types matched. They also needed to see if their bodies were compatible. This was a big hope for Helga. She prayed one of them would be a perfect match. She waited for the results with a heavy heart. Waiting was very hard. Every minute felt like an hour, filled with worry and hope. A few days later, the doctor came into Helga's room. Marta and Victor were already there. The doctor looked very serious. Helga felt a cold feeling start in her stomach. "We have the results from the tests," the doctor said slowly. Helga held her breath. Her heart began to beat very fast. "The tests show that Marta is not a match for Helga," the doctor said softly. Helga's hope went down. "And Victor is not a match either," the doctor continued. Helga felt confused. How could this be? Her parents were not a match. It did not make sense. Then the doctor said something more. Something that changed everything. "Helga," the doctor said, looking directly at her, "Marta and Victor cannot be your biological parents." Helga did not understand the words. What did biological parents mean? She looked at Marta, then at Victor. They were her parents. They had always been her parents. Helga's world stopped completely. It felt like a big glass window inside her mind had broken. Her ears started ringing loudly. She could not breathe well. She looked at her mother, Marta. Marta's face was white. Her eyes were suddenly full of tears. "Is it true?" Helga asked in a very small voice. She could barely speak. Marta looked down at the floor. She could not look at Helga. Then a single tear rolled down her cheek. Soon, Marta was crying hard. Big sobs filled the quiet hospital room. Victor put his arm around Marta. He looked very sad too. Marta slowly lifted her head. Her eyes were red from crying. She looked at Helga with so much pain. "Yes, Helga," Marta said, her voice shaking badly. "Yes, it is true. You are adopted." Helga felt like someone had pushed her. Adopted? Her whole life, every memory, felt like a lie. Her parents, the people she thought were her real parents, were not. She felt lost and very confused. She felt alone. This was not a small surprise. This was a big surprise. It was the biggest, most shocking surprise of her life. She did not know what to think or what to do. Her life was never going to be the same again after this day. 3. My sad feelings. I felt a storm inside me. It was not a gentle rain, but heavy thunder and sharp lightning. My heart felt broken. One moment my life was clear and happy. The next, everything was dark and confusing. I felt angry. I felt sad. How could Marta keep such a big secret from me for my whole life? I was 26 years old. For 26 years, I believed she was my biological mother. This new truth was like a cold wave. I looked at Marta. Her face was wet with tears. My voice was not strong, but it was full of questions. "Why?" I asked. "Why did you never tell me? All these years you let me believe a lie." My hands were shaking. I needed answers. The secret was too big. It changed my past. Who was I really? These thoughts spun in my head. Marta took a deep breath. She looked at Victor, then back at me. Her voice was soft, full of pain. "Helga, please try to understand," she said. "When we adopted you, we loved you from the first moment. We wanted you to be ours completely. We were so afraid." She paused. "We were afraid of losing you. We thought if you knew, you might leave us. You might search for your biological parents and forget about us. It was a big fear. We made a terrible mistake, but our love for you was always real." Her words did not stop the storm inside me. They explained the reason, but they did not take away the hurt. I still felt lost. Max was there. He had been quiet, listening. Now he gently took my hand. His fingers were warm and strong. He looked into my eyes. "Helga," he said quietly, "I am here. We will face this together. This is a difficult time, but we are a team. We will get through this." His calm voice was a small light in my dark feelings. I could not stop the tears. They fell down my face, hot and endless. I cried for the life I thought I had. I cried for the secret that changed everything. I cried because I felt alone. This discovery was too big. It felt like a part of me was missing. I spent the rest of the day and night feeling this heavy sadness. My life was not what I thought it was, and I did not know how to feel about it. 4. A difficult search. I was still waiting for a kidney. Every day was difficult. My body felt weak, and my energy was low. The doctors told me to be patient. Waiting for a donor was like waiting for a very important letter that might never come. It made me feel very anxious. But in the hospital, there was also a new kind of hope. The hospital said they could help me find my biological mother. This was a big step for me. I wanted to know her. Maybe she could tell me things about myself. Maybe she could even help me understand why I was adopted. The search began. It was a long process. The hospital had special people who worked to find family members. They looked through old papers and records. I tried to stay positive, but it was hard. I had many questions. Who was she? What was her life like? Did she ever think about me? I had many thoughts every day while I waited for news about a donor and news about her. After some weeks, the hospital called me. They had found her. My biological mother's name was Ingrid. She lived in another city in Salzburg. When I heard her name, a strong feeling came over me. I felt excited and afraid. I had imagined this moment many times. My hope grew very strong. I thought soon I will meet my real mother. I wanted to ask her so many things. I wanted to understand everything. I felt a small light in the darkness of my illness. But then the hospital person told me more. Ingrid did not want to meet me. She said no. My hope, which had just grown so big, suddenly broke. My hope broke like glass. I could not believe it. I felt a terrible pain in my heart. Why? Why did she not want to see me? I was her daughter. I needed her. I needed answers. This news made me feel very sad and confused. I felt hurt. The pain was deep. I felt abandoned all over again, just like when Marta told me I was adopted. First, my health was bad. Then, I learned about the adoption secret. Now my biological mother did not want me. It was too much. I cried in my bed. The search was difficult, and the answer was even more difficult to accept. I still needed a kidney, and now I felt alone in a new way. 5, a new kidney. The waiting was long. Every day I hoped for good news. My body felt tired. I knew I needed a new kidney soon. Then, one day, the hospital called. They said they found a match. It was from an anonymous donor, a kind stranger. I felt a big wave of relief. This was my second chance. I would have the surgery very soon. The day of the transplant came. I was nervous, but I also felt hopeful. Max was with me. He held my hand. The surgery took many hours. When I woke up, I felt a lot of pain. My body was weak. I was in the hospital bed for a long time. It was a very difficult recovery. Every day felt like a struggle, but Max was always there. He never left my side. He stayed in my room for many hours each day. He talked to me. He held my hand when I felt sad or scared. He read books to me when I was too weak to read myself. He tried to make me smile even when I felt terrible. His love gave me strength. He brought me small gifts like my favorite flowers. He told me stories to distract me from the pain. He was my rock. I slowly started to get better. Each day, I felt a little stronger. The nurses and doctors were kind. They helped me with everything. I learned to walk again, slowly at first. It was a long journey to feel normal. Max and I talked about our wedding. We had planned to get married soon, but I was not strong enough. I wanted to be fully healthy for our special day. We decided to postpone the wedding. We thought it would be better to wait until I was completely well. Max agreed. He said my health was the most important thing. He wanted me to recover without any worries. We planned to get married next year when I was strong again. I felt lucky to have him. 6, the lost mother. Helga felt better after her surgery. Her body was healing well. She was getting stronger every day, but her mind still thought about Ingrid. Ingrid was her biological mother. Helga wanted to know her. She wanted to understand why Ingrid left her. She also wanted to understand why Ingrid did not want to meet her now. This thought made Helga feel sad. Helga decided to try again. She wrote letters to Ingrid. She wrote about her life. She wrote about her feelings. She wrote about her illness and the transplant. She hoped Ingrid would read the letters. She hoped Ingrid would write back. Helga waited every day. She checked the mailbox, but there was no letter from Ingrid. Ingrid did not reply. Helga felt her heart break again. She felt abandoned. It was a very hard feeling. She talked to Max about it. Max listened carefully. He held her hand. "Helga," he said, "I know this is hard. Some people are just afraid. They are afraid of new things. They are afraid of old feelings. Maybe Ingrid is afraid." Helga thought about Max's words. She tried to understand. Was Ingrid really afraid, or did she simply not care? Helga did not know the answer. It was a mystery, a painful mystery. She tried to accept this part of her story. She tried to accept that she might never know Ingrid. She might never meet her biological mother. It was a very difficult truth. Helga spent her days recovering. She walked a little more each day. She ate healthy food. Max was always there. He was her strength. He helped her laugh. He helped her forget the sadness for a little while. But the thought of Ingrid was always in her mind. It was like a shadow from her past. She tried to focus on her health. She tried to focus on her future with Max. They had postponed their wedding. Now she looked forward to that day. She wanted to be strong and healthy for it. She knew she had a loving family. Marta and Victor were still her parents. Max was her true partner. This love was real. But the question about Ingrid stayed. Why did she not want to know Helga? Why did she not want to be a part of her life? Helga hoped that one day Ingrid would change her mind. She hoped that one day she would get an answer. But for now, she had to live with the unanswered questions. It was a part of her life. 7, my family love. Helga felt many things. The secret about her birth was heavy. She thought about Marta, her mother, for 26 years. Marta wanted to talk. Helga was not sure if she wanted to see her. But Marta came to Helga's room. She walked in slowly. Her eyes were red. Helga looked at her, feeling anger and sadness. Marta sat down. She looked at Helga. Tears started to fall. "I am so sorry, Helga," Marta said. Her voice was soft, full of regret. "I should have told you the truth. Keeping this secret was wrong, but I love you. I love you like you are my own child." As Marta spoke, Helga remembered many things. She remembered Marta holding her hand when she was small. She remembered Marta cooking her favorite food. She remembered Marta reading stories before bed. She remembered Marta staying up all night when Helga had a fever. Marta was always there. She was kind and loving. These memories filled Helga's mind. Helga felt tears in her own eyes now. Marta had kept a big secret. That secret had caused pain. But Marta had also given her a life full of love. She had raised Helga. She had taught her many things. She had been a mother in every way that mattered. Helga saw all of Marta's love. It was strong and clear. Helga reached out her hand. Marta took it. Helga started to cry too, her sadness mixed with understanding. "You are still my mom," Helga whispered. Her voice was quiet but firm. "You will always be my mother." Marta looked at Helga. A small smile came to her face through her tears. Helga stood up. Marta stood up too. They hugged. It was a very long hug, full of sorrow, forgiveness, and deep love. In that hug, something inside Helga started to heal. The pain of the secret felt lighter. Marta was not her biological mother, but she was her family. She was the one who had loved her every day. Helga understood that family was not just about blood. It was about care and shared life. It was about love. This was a difficult lesson, but also a warm one. Helga knew their relationship would be strong again. It would be different, but still full of love. They would build a new path together. This was a new beginning for them both. 8. A happy day. 1 year had passed since Helga's surgery. The difficult times were now behind her. She woke up on a special morning. The sun shone brightly through her window. It was her wedding day. She felt a deep sense of peace and happiness. Her body felt strong and healthy, a true gift after all she had been through. She smiled, looking forward to the day ahead. Helga put on her beautiful white wedding dress. It was the same dress she had tried on a year ago, before her life changed completely. This time, there was no fainting, no fear. She looked in the mirror and saw a woman who was not only healthy, but also full of love. Her heart was light. She thought about Max, her loving fiancé who waited for her. He had been her rock through everything, always by her side. Downstairs, Marta and Victor were waiting. Helga felt a warm feeling in her chest. Their relationship was now open and honest. The secrets were gone, and their love had grown even stronger. Marta helped Helga with her veil, her eyes full of happy tears. Victor gave Helga a gentle hug. They were a true family, connected by years of love and now by truth. When it was time, Helga walked towards the ceremony. Marta was on one side and Victor was on the other. They walked slowly, their hands linked. Every step felt significant. She saw Max waiting for her at the altar. His eyes were full of love and admiration. The church was filled with soft light and the quiet murmurs of friends and family. It was a perfect moment. Helga reached Max. They held hands and looked at each other. The past had been painful, with many surprises and sad moments. But today, there was only joy. There were no more secrets, only honest love and a strong family bond. Max and Helga exchanged their vows. They promised to love and support each other always. They said, "I do." It was a promise for a new, honest beginning together. This wedding day was not just a celebration. It was a symbol of healing, acceptance, and a future built on truth and love. Helga knew this was her real family, standing with her, loving her always.